On Overdrive today, we check out what's new in the updated Tata Safari, take a ride in the Triumph Scrambler 400X and dish out some donuts in a Mercedes W203 C200 with bad boy drifts. Hello and welcome to Overdrive. I am Soini. The Tata Motors flagship SUV, the Safari, has been revamped. It now sports a very striking design. It also has plenty of attractive features and a robust safety package. Is it the SUV that you've been looking for? Let's find out.
Tata has been revamping its SUV lineup lately. We've seen the stunning new Nexon, the Nexon EV. There's also a Punch EV on the cards, which is likely to have a more distinctive design than its ICE counterpart. But what's creating headlines right now is the Safari and its 5-seater variant, the Harrier, both of which have been updated for 2023. For now, let's start with the most striking feature on the new Safari, its design. The 2023 Tata Safari has some exciting updates. The larger grille and its single-piece design compared to the Harrier add an imposing stance, while the subtle Safari branding on the doors with an updated new logo adds a touch of class. I'm particularly impressed with the design of these 19-inch wheels. They are not only aerodynamic but also add a very nice and sporty touch. The straight lines of the bodywork emphasize the Safari's upright stance and length and give it more distinction over the new Harrier. The full-width LED strip, vertically stacked headlamps and the two-pot fog lamps give the front end a commanding presence. The design of the rear maintains a heady balance between sophistication and ruggedness. The horizontal lines and the vertical sculptural elements look good, and there's a distinctive light signature across the rear compared to the Harrier. Step inside and the 2023 Safari continues to impress. It still has that big, spacious cabin that we were impressed with in the past as well, but now these inlay panels, for example, they get this pinstriping, which is a page straight out of the luxury book. There are plenty of screens in this cabin. A 12.3-inch central infotainment screen and a 10.25-inch instrumentation cluster immediately attract attention. And then you notice that even the terrain mode selector has a tiny screen akin to a smartwatch. Soft touch materials impart a premium feel, and these screens, along with the electronic touch controls for the AC and a 4-spoke digital steering with an illuminated logo, instantly tell you that this is a high-tech cockpit. Tata emphasizes safety with 6 standard airbags and a 7th available in the top trims. The Boss mode for the rear left passenger adds convenience for those who are chauffeur-driven. Now, talking of the connectivity options, you have the ALEXA car to home functionality, which is very different than the remote functionality that a lot of other car makers are offering. What that means is, with this device, you can communicate with the compatible ALEXA devices back at home. So as you're arriving at home, you can simply ask the coffee maker to start making coffee, or pre-cool the house, pre-cool the room that you want to get into, or start the lights, all those kind of things. So this is the better tech, and I'm glad that some car maker, at least at this particular price point, is making it accessible. Kudos to Tata for that. Connectivity is on point then, and so are the creature comforts. Rear window blinds and ventilated seats even in the second row create a comfortable atmosphere to be in. There is ambient lighting that also extends to the panoramic roof, and the roof itself can be opened using voice commands, including some interesting ones. Khul ja sim sim.
All right, sunroof khol rahe hain.
So it can also understand different languages. 6 languages for now. They want to expand it to multiple languages from India. When it comes to driving dynamics, the new Safari has made improvements in this regard as well. We had a complaint about the heavy steering feel, especially in the city environment when it came to the previous Harrier or the Safari. Now that has been addressed with 3 new driving modes. You have the Eco, City and Sport modes, which are obviously going to make differences to the way the powertrain responds, but these also make changes to the steering. The Eco and the Comfort mode keep the steering conveniently light for city use, and then the Sport mode weighs it up quite nicely, so when you are at speed, it feels more in control. The Sport mode also enhances throttle and engine response, particularly useful on mountain roads and inclines, even for non-enthusiastic drivers. Now there are 3 driving modes to choose from. There is normal for tarmac, there is wet for the slippery surfaces, and then there is rough for rocky, gravelly, dirt surfaces, etc. Now there is no all-wheel drive option even now. This is still a front-wheel driven car, so all these modes are a function of the traction control system. But even in the normal mode, the traction control is working so well. I've not even put it in the rough, and this is where I'm driving right now, and it just does its job quite well. The tires are so well spec'd, the suspension is so well tuned that you don't really break traction all that easily. So even in the normal mode, I'm able to do all of this. Of course, with the rough road, the traction control becomes a little more lenient, but even in the normal mode, it's not too intrusive. It might be a placebo effect, but I think that the rough road mode also makes the brake feel a little easy. It feels more progressive.
Apart from the airbags I mentioned previously, the safety kit is well spec'd, and there are now some additions too.
Now the Safari and the Harrier got ADAS functionality a little while back, but the updated versions now also get adaptive cruise control, which means it will seamlessly match the speed of the vehicle in front of you irrespective of what speed you have set. But what they've also done is, when the vehicle in front of you starts moving or accelerating, there's a 3-second delay before which the Safari will start accelerating. And this is essentially a safety buffer, because in India we've often seen pedestrians, animals, two-wheelers, etc. jump into every little space that's available. So to avoid any mishap from happening, they've engineered that 3-second delay before the Safari also starts accelerating to again catch up with the vehicle in front.
In panic situations, the vehicle uses automatic emergency braking and includes features such as free brake fill as well. Even in non-emergency braking, the Safari activates the hazard lights when the rear radars detect a tailgating vehicle. Some features like lane keep assist will be added to the production model. The Fiat-sourced 170 PS diesel engine is inherently a bit noisy and unrefined, but there are no pedal vibrations to complain about in this Tata. It delivers decent performance with a punchy mid-range. There's some turbo lag, but it's manageable, and the crisp response of the sport mode shadows this shortcoming.
You have the option of a 6-speed manual, you also have the automatic transmission, and as I mentioned before, you get this shift-by-wire tech for the selector. You also get paddle shifters behind the wheel, which will enhance the overall driving experience when you want to take manual control. Now, this isn't the quickest of gearboxes, however, it's not something that I will complain about because the shift times are respectable. Now, ride quality or good ride quality was always a big talking point for the Harrier and the Safari in its respective segments, and that continues with the new vehicle as well. But they've also tweaked the suspension to now ensure that the uprated wheel sizes, especially the 19-inch on the Safari, doesn't lead to any bone-jarring ride on our Indian driving conditions. Of course, the sharper bumps, they still are received with a slight bit of firmness. You still feel a bit of it in the cabin, but not something that you will complain about often. And most of the poor road conditions that India will throw at the car, it will handle it quite nicely. So with the striking new design, the updated features, the better safety package that it is now, the Safari is now a more promising product, a more worthy product to be the flagship for Tata. And it's evident how much effort Tata has put in all these respects, even though this is just a midlife makeover. So kudos to Tata for that. All this effort is evident in making the Safari a better experience overall than before.
At the launch earlier this week, Tata Motors also revealed that the Safari and the Harrier have received 5-star ratings at the global NCAP crash test ratings. This, of course, is a big feat for the already sturdy brand. We'll take a very quick break here on the show, but coming up on the other side, we'll get you acquainted with the Triumph Scrambler 400X.